Islam is almost universally viewed by non-Muslim Europeans as an interloper, as something that does not really belong in Europe, something that really belongs somewhere else. This deep-seated prejudice is historically inaccurate, demonstrates great ignorance on the part of Europeans about the nature of Islam, and is now in real terms completely nonsensical in the light of the existing situation. Most of the so-called Muslim immigrants are in fact no longer immigrants at all. A great many of them are in their third generation and an increasing number in their fourth. So they are now completely European and more often have absolutely no contact whatsoever with the countries from which their grandparents and great-grandparents came. What this means is that Islam is now, in reality, a fully integrated European religion, ineradicably here to stay. It is, to use a French term, a fait accompli. It is vital that the governments of Europe really understand this. They invited Muslims to come here in great numbers. It is now time for them to live up to the implications of that invitation. Islam is what it is, and most of those who did the inviting knew from their colonial experience exactly what that entails. Islam is not like Christianity with its principle of giving to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's. Islam embraces every aspect of a Muslim's life. It cannot be reformed or secularized in the way that Christianity has been. It cannot be turned into the neutered religion that our non-Muslim rulers are trying to make it. Room must be created within European polities for Islam to express itself in a way that is truly fulfilling to the European Muslims themselves. It goes without saying that Muslims must live within the restraints of the legal systems of those countries where they live. But those systems, which are in any case in a state of constant development, must adapt themselves to accommodate the legitimate religious and social needs of the millions of Muslim citizens living under their aegis. European Muslims must be made to feel at home in the lands that are their home. If this does not happen, the dreadful cycle of repression followed by mindless violence we have all been witnessing for the last decade or more will continue into the foreseeable future. And it will not happen so long as governments insist on taking advice about Islam from time-serving Muslims who do not represent the great bulk of the Muslim community. There has to be a real process of consultation and implementation involving Muslims who really do represent the orthodox, mainstream views of Islam. When that does happen, the Muslims of Europe will happily find their proper place in the lands where they live. They will greatly enrich their countries materially, culturally, and spiritually. The social justice, probity, compassion, and charity that have always been the hallmark of properly functioning Muslim societies will characterize their communities. And these terrible atrocities, along with their evil instigators and perpetrators, will be correctly consigned to the dustbin of history where they truly belong.